is Emily, and today I'm going to talk about chlamydia infections. Chlamydia is a STI caused by bacteria that can infect both men and women.
Chlamydia is one of the most common sexually transmitted infections. It is a bacterial infection, and as such, it is completely curable. The part about chlamydia that can be disconcerting, however, is that it's usually in women has no symptoms, and so it's very hard to know that you have it. Men will sometimes have a discharge or a burning upon urination. When women do have symptoms, that's often the symptoms as well, when they burning upon urination or discomfort around sexual penetration. Chlamydia is completely curable with antibiotics. It's important that if you are infected, chances are your partner is infected, so that both of you, or how many partners you may have who are infected, it's important that all of you are treated at the same time so that you don't keep reinfecting one another. With antibiotics, it's really important that you take the full course of antibiotics. If you stop too early, often the infection can reoccur. So you want to finish every antibiotic you've been given. And usually, treatment with antibiotic will cure the chlamydia. One important thing to note is that although chlamydia is completely curable with antibiotics, if left untreated, it can lead to infertility in both men and women. People who are infected with chlamydia are often co-infected with gonorrhea, so often they'll test for gonorrhea if they suspect you have chlamydia, and they'll treat you for both. Usually it's the same antibiotic that will cure both chlamydia and gonorrhea. You're not automatically tested for chlamydia if you go for an annual pelvic exam or you go to the doctor, so if you suspect that you might be infected, or if you know your partner is infected, you actually have to ask to be tested for it, and the way they test is through a urine test or a swab test, and you can usually get the results right there. Once they know what you have, they'll know what to prescribe, and then you can cure yourself of chlamydia.
Applications in medicine. Azithromycin, a microbial antibiotic, has antimicrobial activity against a wide variety of microbes. Its effectiveness against chlamydia, Chlamydia and genital infections with a single dose has been demonstrated in studies cited in the publications. Cited studies also show that azithromycin is safe for use in the breastfeeding in infants and in pregnancy, but contraindications for tetracycline remain alternative. Now I will show you a video.
Azithromycin is a prescription medication used to treat bacterial infections, such as infections of the lung and airways, eyes, ears, sinuses, skin, throat, and infections from sexually transmitted diseases. Azithromycin belongs to a group of drugs called macrolide antibiotics, which stop the growth of bacteria. This medication comes in a tablet, oral suspension, eye drop, and injection forms. The tablet and oral suspension are taken once a day with or without food. The extended release suspension is taken once only on an empty stomach. The eye drops are used in the affected eye twice a day. The injection is given by a healthcare professional. Common side effects of azithromycin include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, stomach pain, and headache. Eye irritation is the common side effect of the eye drop form. It's important not to take azithromycin unless prescribed by a doctor. For RxWiki, I'm Lindsay Morrison.
Cans and bruises. Cans females and women develop pelvic inflammatory disease. It is an infection that can damage the uterus, cervix, and ovaries. Women can also become infertile if chlamydia is left untreated. Pregnant women with the infection can pass bacteria to their babies during birth, which can cause gilded age infections and pneumonia in newborns. Men often have problems with chlamydia. Sometimes it can infect the epididymis, the teeth that cause sperm. The infections can also spread to the prostate gland, causing a fever, painful intercourse, and discomfort in the lower back. Both men and women can develop reproductive arthritis because of the chlamydia infections. Reproductive arthritis is a type of arthritis that happens as a reaction to an infection in the body. Bruise. early detection and treatment of cervical infection if a person is attempting for reduce the duration of infections. Antibiotics are very effective and can cure most cases of chlamydia. Issue apply. The mortality rate per 100,000 people from chlamydia infection in Ecuador has decreased by 45.1% since 1990, and every age of 20 of 2 years. So this has been the trend overall, and just a filter the top of the visualizations to see how the mortality rate of chlamydia infection has changed over time from an environment of a specific age of group in Ecuador. Now I will show you a video.
I'm Dr. Peter Kramer from Rensselaer Beach Family Medicine in Wilmington, North Carolina. I want to talk a little bit today about chlamydia infections. Chlamydia is the most common bacterial sexually transmitted disease in the United States. Hundreds of thousands of people are diagnosed every year with chlamydia. The interesting part about chlamydia is that most people don't have any symptoms of chlamydia. It's found when we're testing for other things or as a routine screening. So if you don't have symptoms, you can't necessarily be sure that you don't have it. It's important to get regular checkups with your healthcare provider to make sure. Also, prevention is crucial in not getting chlamydia because if you don't have symptoms, you don't know if you're transmitting it to somebody. Men and women can have chlamydia infections. Men can be carriers and transmit to women. Women can be carriers and transmit to men. And of course, if neither of them have symptoms, it's hard to know which person would give it to whom. So wearing condoms is very important, and getting tested regularly is very important. The chlamydia is relatively easily treated once you get it with just a short course of antibiotics. But if you don't treat chlamydia, you can have problems with childbearing later in years as the infection scars the fallopian tubes, or the tubes that lead the eggs down into the uterus for implantation. So it's real important to get it treated. And if you have any signs or symptoms, men might have a little drip or an itch from their penis. Women might have no symptoms at all, or maybe a vaginal discharge. Please seek information from your healthcare provider and physician about what to do. That's a little bit about chlamydia infections.
In conclusion, chlamydia is a solid infections communicable disease that is introduced through the body fluids. This disease is predominant in teenagers and young adults. In predominant underprivileged areas or areas with low economic status, the frequency of chlamydia trachomatis infections is predominant in Ecuador, and Balsams was very high.